Good evening everyone, hope you're well. It's Francis here. Welcome back to another video. I'm aware that I haven't done a video in a while, so I just thought I'd hop in, share an interesting story with you guys. So as many of you are aware, I went back home in May, sort of mid of this year, just for my yearly holiday that I wanted to take some time out, and I ended up just going back home to the Philippines, where I'm originally from. It was the first time that I went back home since COVID happened in beginning of 2020. So it was literally my first time going back home in 3 years. Prior to that, I last went home end of sort of 2019, before all the pandemic and world issues were happening at the time. And so I had a great time, ended up staying there for a whole month, an extra week longer than I expected due to a cancelled flight. But I'm not going to be here talking about that. I also went home in October, just a few months ago now, for literally just a week. I know you may think I'm crazy, but I had a week remaining at work for my yearly leave, and so I thought I'd make use of that, and ended up, what better place to go than going back home to the Philippines again. And I wanted to make a video regarding an experience that I had back home, and I'm sure that you guys could probably take a few bits from my my story that I'm about to tell you, and a few lessons that you can probably take away. So this was my first night in Manila. I landed second week of October. So I flew out from here, London, to Kuwait, and then from there Kuwait to Manila. So I flew out Saturday afternoon here, and then landed in Manila Sunday, the next day on a Sunday. Being 7 hours ahead, effectively I was traveling ahead in time, basically losing time. And so I ended up arriving the next day on Sunday late afternoon. I got into Manila around 4 o'clock, got my luggage, went to the hotel that I was staying at in Pasay, which is about, I'd say, 15-20 minutes from Ninoy Aquino International Airport, which is the main airport in Manila. You do go there, that's the main airport that you fly into. Book a Grab. Took me hours trying to get my Grab because it's so difficult trying to find a collection point there, being so big, and because there are several bays at the international arrivals exit. It was hard for me to be able to find my driver, but after a few hours I managed to find a driver that took me to my hotel. And at the time my cousins were there that I haven't seen in years, 5 to 6 years now. Shout out to Paul and Jeff D. I was staying next to Robinson Manila, which was literally a walking distance, less than 5 minutes away from my hotel. I met them there, had a dinner, and from there we ended up going to a bar. This was like a sports bar from what I remember on top of my head. Had a great experience. I can't remember what the bar was called, but with that aside, I had a great experience, had fun with them, catching up, and had a good laugh. And from there, and I'm sure you guys probably heard this street before, Mabini Street. So Mabini Street is sort of a red light district known in Pasay, in Ermita they call it, which is like sort of the barangay, I guess, town, if you will, within that district, if that sort of makes sense. And it's a long strip, effectively, just running through central Ermita in Pasay, where I was literally staying, in was like probably no more than 10 minutes away. We went to a like a karaoke bar, right? So I went to a first one, and because it's Sunday night, I wasn't expecting much, and I didn't think it was going to be busy, because obviously I knew it was, nightlife was going to be as fullest at Friday and Saturday night, but being a Sunday, I wasn't expecting much. I was with my cousin, 2 of us, and including plus me, when we got dropped off just further down, in this little like trike scooter thing, which I've never been on before, but I'll try and see if I could get a video up, because I did take a video, if I remember rightly. That was great fun, never experienced it before. Anyway, we go to this sort of karaoke bar. If you guys have been to sort of Southeast Asia and Asia as a whole, traveling, I'm sure you're aware of like go-go bars, ladyboy bars, and sort of sports bars. And this one I'm referring to like KTV bars, which are karaoke bars. Effectively, you sing and you have a few drinks, and yeah, wherever the night takes you, where it takes you. And we go to this first one. There are a few like promoters, or they're called sort of what are they called, freelancers? Not freelancers, but employees that were sort of employees of sort of KTV was luring us in, sort of capture tourists to come to their karaoke bars. We ended up going up one bar at first. A lady took us up the stairs, told us the deals and what we were going to be in for, and we were like, look, let's go up and see. And then they opened the doors and there was just like abundance of women, like young women, like whether they're legal age I would not know, but from what I saw, yeah, they seemed to be. So they take you upstairs and they open the door and it was just like just young women, just like I couldn't count. I was so lost for words, and I've never experienced this before. And so what ended up happening was my cousins were like, no, we shouldn't go here. So we pretended to go on the phone, as if we were on the phone to someone, and then we ended up going out. Right, and then we walk further down the street, Mabini Street, and we ended up going to this one bar. And another lad trying to sort of, talk us way into coming into his bar, because I'm sure he was sort of like a middleman and sort of gets commissioned for any tourist that he tracks in. So fair play to him. We listened, we followed him. We wouldn't necessarily follow him, but we was just sort of walking down the street, and he sort of tagged along. So he just told us what the deal was. We ended up going to a bar further down. We went with him, and he guided us in, and the lady at the door who worked at that bar, from what I'm aware of, and she took us in, and again, opened the doors. There were like sofa, like seated sofas in each, sort of one in the corner, one in the middle, and one at the end. So we went to the one in their end, and again, our first sort of seeing area to the left. When you walk in, there were just women. Literally just young women just sat down. I couldn't count. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, what the earth is actually happening right now? Because I was not expecting this on a Saturday evening. Sorry, being a Sunday evening in Manila. Being Sunday, I wasn't expecting it to be so busy. But yeah, I could tell you for sure that it was sort of lively. The energy was up. And because I was sort of a few drinks in, I was obviously, a bit tipsy, if you will. Mine was sort of all over the place. I wasn't able to make, the most wisest decisions. I ended up going in there, singing, and it was like 500 pesos, which is literally less than a tenner, to put things in perspective. So 500 pesos for unlimited drinks for first 2 hours, if I can remember rightly, or an hour, I can't quite remember. But that was a deal. I was like, yeah, great. That just sounds like a great deal. But the one thing that I never knew about these places, that the girls that work at these bars, they gain a commission from each drink that I buy for them. So what basically it's called a bar girl drink, and that the charges that they charge for those drinks are slightly more than what the drinks that I order for myself. So I think I'm paying 300 pesos per drink, which is about 3-4 quid, and for mine I think it was half that. So for each drink that I gave them, they get a permission from that, which I had no idea. And I was just like ordering drinks, because my two cousins had a girl each, and and me, I had two girls. I choose because why not? And then I didn't realize that each one had a price. They didn't tell me that. But at the time, I had no idea, so I ended up just choosing. And the seemed like lady that first introduced us to the karaoke bar was like, go and choose one, choose your girls. So I did. The cousins chose theirs. Happy days. They were happy, and there we are. Had the birds next to me, bought them drinks, and next thing you know, it seemed like the owner of the bar was giving me receipts to sign. Basically, on the receipt, it should say how many drinks that you've bought and any additional items that you've purchased. And because at the time, I remember vaguely in my mind that there was nothing on there, it was just a total money that was owed. So I was just like signing, just for, I think, legal reasons, just to, just as a proof of receipt, if you will. So at the end of the night, ended up, I think, signing about two receipts at the end, and for both of them I did not remember them having any items or how many drinks that were on there. So of course there was sort of, they knew what they were doing. They were trying to suck as much cash out of my pocket as possible. And the two girls that I was talking to, they were making sure they were asking me questions like, how long are you gonna be here for? And I was stupid enough to tell them how long I was gonna be how long I was gonna be there for, which was a week. And of course they know for sure they have you have a big budget for a short period of time, so I shouldn't have told them that. And also the second thing is never trust whatever these girls say, because the things that I found out at the end of the night, crazy. I was enjoying my night, happy days, got into the end of the night, and it was probably nearing midnight, and we probably got there around 9 o'clock-ish after dinner. And yeah, it was good 3 hours there. My cousins were having a great time, had a good chin wag, catched up, had a laugh, had a right laugh, and yeah, we had a really great time together. And then the bill comes up, and I was like, whoa, it was 25,000 that ended up being the bill for that night, which is about £350 to £400, which is absolutely mental. So I was like, what? And at the time when I'm on a bit, had a few drinks, my temper tolerance is really short, so I lost my head. I told my cousins we gotta get out of here, and we did. I paid the money. It took forever because I was paying by card, and because I had to accept it on my online banking before the transaction could go through. And I had to borrow the Wi-Fi. It was long, and all I wanted to do was go home. I paid the money. I left, dipped with my cousins, and of course I was fuming. And yeah, I left everything behind. The girls, I didn't care about them. I just wanted to give them money. And that was it. End of the night, ended up going back to my hotel, pissed and absolutely, I was literally absolutely out of my mind. I could not think straight. And the next morning I had to fly out from Manila to Dumaguete. Yeah, I had about 3-4 hours sleep, not even, because I had to wake up at like 6 o'clock. So imagine I ended up going back home just after midnight. I couldn't go to sleep about 1 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I had about 3 hours sleep, and the next morning I had an extortionately awful headache. But I managed to wake up, had an alarm set. But yeah, that was my whole experience, going to these KTV bars that I never experienced before. And the main two lessons that I learned from this trip is make sure you don't trust the women there. Don't fall in love or go in there with the sort of set mind that you're gonna find your future wife, because that's not gonna happen. Because these birds make their money by getting as much drinks out of you, and they earn a commission. And the second thing is never tell them how long you're going to be there for, because that way they know sort of roughly how much money you have set aside for your trip. If you say that you're going to be there for only a few weeks, of course they're going to, in their best interest, and because this is a business, they want to suck as much cash as out of possible from you and your pockets to be able to maximize their revenue that night. And I'm sure they made a lot of money just from that night from me. And being a Sunday evening, it wasn't going to be busy, so fair play to them. I'm not going to shout out the bar, but yeah, fair play to you and the owner who was giving me receipts or after receipts, signing it off just so that they can get their pay and cut off the night. So yeah, that was quite an interesting story. I thought I'd just hop on and share that with you guys, and hopefully you can sort of learn a few lessons. But yeah, hopefully next time when I do go out, I can sort of share my experience with you guys in a lot more detail and have sort of more video footage, because at the time I was not really interested in sort of sharing my experience. But now, after that, I think it would be really beneficial for me to be able to film that and bring you guys along with me. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, keep smiling, and peace.